Good afternoon. I am doing this a little bit early because I'm going to be posting my video on the December astrology. And YouTube tends to only push one or of the two videos. So I'm going to do this first. Now, we are on day 5. Now, the funny thing is, I had meant to read what was in the books for these, but I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and just assume that there was a reason for that. But I've pulled out the book for this deck, which is today for day 5, and we're going to read what's in it. So here is the 5th day in our. And today's card is a 12. Interesting because yesterday's was an 11, so there's progression there. And the message is the canary spirit to sing your own song. Now, before I read this, as we said, there's been kind of like a story that's developing here. Oh, and with the birds. Remember, I said that the birds keep popping up because there's a bird here and there's all sorts of wings and stuff. Um, the thing that comes to mind immediately, because we've been talking about karma and justice and and channeling messages and stuff. Uh, the thing that popped into my head when we talk about the canary is it's kind of like the thing they used to say in the mafia, when they put you on the stand and you were going to sing like a canary. So it was some sort of confession, which has to do kind of with this justice card, um, and this piece about karma and this information coming in. So it looks like somewhere there's a confession to be made. Now, whether it's your confession to someone else, whether someone else needs to confess to you, um, but there's definitely information. And I know because I was just looking at, as I said, I just did the December astrology, and Mars is, or not Mars, Mercury is about to move into Sagittarius. And that's going to bring a lot of new information and a lot of new thoughts and stuff. And especially when Mercury is going to conjunct the galactic center, which is towards the end of the month. I think that's when you're going to see like tons of information coming out. But let's read this message here as from the book. It says the canary spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Feel or free yourself to experience your inner light, which is this. Remember, we were talking about channeling those messages from above, whatever it was that had to come out from the universe for you, that came into this sort of passionate idea, taking flight as the next stage. And let it shine as canary spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Okay, so interesting. So maybe this whole sort of like karmic piece here that's coming is very much about, the pieces that one needs to. I don't know if my cat is getting dangerously close to jumping on the table. Um, gathering the pieces that you need to sort of find the courage to say what needs to be said, to also to authentically express yourself, right? So if there's a situation where you haven't been completely honest, where you owe somebody the truth, it may be time to get it, even if you're afraid that in communicating this information, this clarity might wound and change things. What this is saying here is that only through channeling your light and your authentic self and behaving in a way that's just can we be truly authentically ourselves. So there's a couple of messages here, I think. as this starts to sort of take shape into a story. One is that maybe there's some information that's coming in that's going to allow you to make a more um, evolved, authentic decision about yourself, or perhaps there's something that's been like that you have been maybe afraid to express, been fickle about expressing, and it's starting to, the universe is starting to bring that into you so that you can get more confident in singing your own song. There may also be a situation about relationships, the am I in or am I out? And maybe you, in the behaving of am I in or am I out, you've done things that could potentially wound. And so it's time to confess. Or perhaps there's a situation where you haven't, in the not expression of clear desires, things have been stagnant and want to grow but can't grow because they haven't been planted, right? And so that situation is time to bring some clarity to, in order to bring justice, in order to balance out it's like if you're holding on to a secret, or if you're holding on to something that you're not sharing, you're being invited to express it right now. And that's kind of how these first 5 days seem to be evolving. Again, this goes from the 11 to the 12, And you see, again, we keep talking about how it was like coming down through, and it was now in your hands, and it's like this sort of process, this wave of information that comes in from one and then out and now affects the other. So it's a continuous sort of flow of whatever this, as someone suggested yesterday, was kundalini energy. So maybe this is, the arising, and as this energy comes and arises through you, it gives you the courage and the notes to sing, to express yourself. Okay, so that is the first 5 days. We will see what tomorrow has in store for us. Have a great afternoon. Take care.